only citywide association of neighborhoods in the state of Mississippi, and we are devoted solely to protecting and enhancing the quality of life in our neighborhoods. Its board of directors are leaders in their own neighborhoods. We'd like to introduce them to you now and ask them to stand and wave so that you know whom to thank. They're seated on your right. Of course, I'm Carl Crawford, Chairman of Mona, President of Versailles Neighborhood. Our Vice Chairman is Paul Tankersley, President of North Bay. Our Secretary is Nellie Madison, President of Ingleside. Janie Jarvis is Treasurer of Mona and President of Calvary Madden Neighborhood. Elizabeth Cobb did not be here tonight. Mike McGinnis is the Director of Mona and resident of St. Ives. And finally, Steve Leslie is the Director of Mona and President of Whisper Lake of Hennepin. Mona would also like to thank Superintendent Ronnie McGee, Madison Central High School Principal Austin Brown, and Assistant Principal Jay Harrison for loaning us this fine auditorium. Mr. Harrison has been especially helpful in setting up this facility for tonight's event. Thank you, Madison Central and Jay. We also would like to thank the Clarion Ledger, which is live streaming in both audio and video tonight's debate on its website, and our excellent Madison Police who will provide traffic control and security within the auditorium tonight. We would also like to recognize members of the Board of Aldermen who are with us tonight. And I would like to ask them seated over on your left to stand and wave as we call their name. John Holland, Alderman at Large. And Juana Tatum, Ward 1. Van Peeler, Ward 2. Ken Jacobs, Ward 3. Steve Hickok, Ward 4, and Mayor Pro Tem. Mike Hudgens, Ward 5. And Guy Bowering, the new Ward 6. Thank you for being here tonight, all. And thank each one of you in this auditorium tonight for being here. Mona's primary objective in sponsoring this debate is to educate and inform the 24,000 citizens and voters who live in the 69 neighborhoods of Madison, Mississippi. We want this event to be as fair and objective and educational as possible, and we've devoted quite a bit of effort in that direction. Accordingly, we request that you respect your neighbors seated around you and limit your expressions of approval to a polite applause. And please avoid any outbursts beyond that. Anyone who disregards this request will be escorted from the auditorium. To be fair and objective as possible, the Mona Board prepared ground rules patterned after the presidential debates of 2012, and also prepared a list of community issues which they felt would be of the widest interest to all neighborhoods. You received a copy of these ground rules and these key community issues when you entered the auditorium tonight. These documents were shared with candidates just a few days ago as well. But the questions have been prepared by me, the moderator, only and alone. And they have not been shared with either the Mona Board or the candidates beforehand. Our timekeeper is Ms. Manisha Dubé, a freshman member of Madison Central High School speech and debate team. And though a freshman, she has already qualified this year for 2 separate national debate tournaments. She and her debate partner, Moses Lamb, who is also a freshman, just came in second last Saturday at the state debate championship in the state of Mississippi. first issue, as you noticed on your key community issues list, okay? Okay, thank you. I'll take it with me. Now, can you hear me better now? Yes. All right. Thank you for telling me that before we got to the point. Good, thank you, Mr. Baker. The first issue, if you looked at your key community issues list that you got when you came in, the first question has to do with what is becoming known as the Madison look. Not many know that Madison, the city, has an architectural design consultant under contract who reviews every proposed new commercial building's appearance. And Madison is the only city in the state with such an architectural design consultant. Many feel that having such a design consultant has helped to give the city a consistent, classy, and pleasing appearance. Others, however, think it is too restrictive on new businesses who may want to come to Madison. To get us rolling here, Madam Mayor, why does the city have an architectural design consultant? And what do you say to a new business that doesn't like it? And we may have to help you turn it on. Okay. Go ahead and start talking. You may be able to adjust it up. Take it off and just go. Yes, ma'am. There we go. There we go.
Now, can I borrow that line? Thank you so much. I want to thank all of you for coming this evening. Who says people don't care about this community? What a great group. I want to thank the alderman and so many, Mona, for putting on this event. And the first question, the Madison look. 30 years ago, when we all met at the little Madison Regional High School, a citizens group decided that Madison was going to be special and different with all the growth, the projections that we heard that were absolutely phenomenal. We wanted to make sure that when you crossed the city limits of Madison, Mississippi, you knew you were in Madison and that you weren't an extension of Northeast Jackson or the city of Richmond. And how do you keep that hometown feeling? And how do you keep that certain sense of place unless you plan that growth? And that's what that meeting was all about. And part of that had to do with the architectural designs of the buildings. We looked at the old, we thought about the new, and those designs come from a combination of a lot of people giving a lot of thought. All you have to look at around the city of Madison and you see the Madison look. A Walmart like no other. A Lowe's like no other. A Home Depot like no other. We're talking about national change that have changed their design for the Madison look that sets Madison apart.
All right, that's good. All right, pretty much here. Okay. Again, thank you, Carl. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you, Mona, and again, all the folks that was involved with the school and bringing this. The Madison look, in my opinion, I'm not here to change the Madison look. I'm not interested in changing the look or diminishing the standards of which Madison is known for. We have established a standard here. We have established a brand as you might say. But what I want to do, and what I'm interested in doing, is bringing in what I call a good business sense to that Madison look. There's not a thing in the world wrong with having the different architectures and what have you that we have. But I want to bring good business sense. I want a business to be able to come to Madison and consider to come here and not necessarily totally be told exactly what all they have to do to come here. There are guidelines that I will certainly continue to maintain. But there are businesses that don't come here because of that. And I do feel, and I know from conversations that I have from a lot of people, that there are other businesses they would like to see come here. There are other businesses I would like to see come here. And a lot of them won't even consider it because they don't think they can get in the door. They think if they get in the door that the Madison look is going to be too demanding or too expensive and therefore not be able to come in. I'm all for keeping our standards. I'm all for being unique. But as you know, during the years that have been changed, the Madison look itself has changed through the years. I was unaware we had an architectural guy, but I do know that you've got to go through planning and zoning, irregardless of what the architectural person says. So therefore, the people who are wanting to come are going to have to end up through that. So, again, I'm not out to get rid of the Madison look, improve it, and make it business reasonable and good common sense. Thank you.
Let's see if I can make this one work. There's feedback from the mayor. It's working. I'll see if I can make that one work. Can you hear me now with this one?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me with this one?
Yes.
All right. Since we started first, does the East County want to rebut? Want a 1 minute additional to rebut? No? No? Okay. We'll go on to the second topic. Okay. Can you hear me now? All right. I'll keep it right from the mouth. Okay. We just finished 2 minutes by each candidate. According to ground rules, either of the candidates can request an additional 1 minute for rebuttal. Would either candidate like to have a 1 minute additional for rebuttal?
No, thank you.
Okay, we'll go on to the second topic. And that topic, as you may see on your key community issues list, is tax increment financing. Madison, the city, has a reputation for closely scrutinizing a developer's request for TIF financing. That's when the city borrows money through bonds to pay for infrastructure improvements like storm drainage, paving, street lights for parking lots, curbs and gutters around a new commercial shopping center or a big box store. And that is furnished to the developer. Then the new tax revenue from that new commercial development is pledged for many years to pay off those bonds the city borrowed. Some say the city's good credit is taking on undue risk, and the city is giving up tax revenue for years while still having to pay for fire and police protection and other city services to that new business. An outlet mall, for example, was recently turned down by the city and was able to get TIF or TIF financing in Pearl instead. Some say outlet malls are not the kind of stores that Madison wants anyway. Target reportedly requested a TIF of several $1 million from the city and was turned down by the city. But we understand Target may come to Madison anyway with a different developer who will finance his own infrastructure without a TIF at all. Since we started with Mayor Mary, the second question topic could be directed to Mr. Crosby. What is your opinion, Mr. Crosby, on using the city's good credit through TIFs?
Well, to start with, I'll just go ahead and get it on out. I'm in favor of TIFs. And I don't want to use the example, and I don't really think it needs to say that the city is borrowing the money and using it as credit. You got to understand what a TIF is. If you've got a piece of land out there and you've got a developer that is not going to come if he doesn't get some help, and that help will be not only by the city, it'll also be by the county, and by cutting ad valorem tax, usually it's about 50% from each area for about 10, 15, 20 years. Well, the thing is, in that 10 or 15 or 20, you are getting half, but you've got the other half that's coming in. And also, with the TIF, you do not get to do the bonds. You don't borrow the money until there's enough guarantee there by the developer and by the operation that's being built to fund those bonds. So it's not just a roll of the dice. You might have a piece of property that's sitting there just drawing in regular basic taxes. But if you can put a new building there, you've got jobs. You've got half of the tax coming in for the city and the county, and also dollars for the schools. When we don't do that, they may not come. Then you're sitting there with a piece of land again that's not doing anything. And then when the TIF gets paid off, I'm not in favor of long-term TIFs. In fact, I voted against long-term TIFs. Generally about a 10 to 15-year TIF, I haven't got a problem with. But after that 10 or 15 years, then the city, then the county gets all of their revenues, and by then you can have business growth and dollars coming in, and you create jobs and other tax revenues for the city, regardless, instead of that piece of land city. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor Mary, your view on TIFs.
Yes, sir. The county has a lot of experience in public improvement districts and TIFs. Your taxes were just raised not long ago because developers defaulted to pay what was owed. And that continues to go on. Several millions of dollars have already been paid and will be paid over the next few years. Madison is being very frugal with a TIF. We make sure that those funds that belong to you, your tax dollars, are used for public improvements and not to improve a developer's private property. That has not been in the case in which you heard just a few minutes ago. The outlet mall that was not approved by the city of Madison, the same developer who you are paying his assessment, his default on his road, is the one that asked for $12 million in TIF up front for this outlet mall. We tell him, no, we're not paying it. You can build it to city specs, but we're not giving you the taxpayers' money. That's the difference in philosophy. We told Target the same thing. We told Target that you can build it according to standards, but we're not giving away money to do that. This afternoon I received an email from Target, and it reads, Mary, I want to thank you and the staff for working with the Target design team. That's the Madison look again, to determine elevations acceptable to both Target and the city of Madison. The collaboration between Sigler Phillips, Target, and Graves Nelson and Alan Hoops made it happen. So, no sir, we did not do it. Like we're giving away candy because it's your money.
Mr. Campbell, would you like to remain for rebuttal? Yes?
Yes. Okay.
Go right ahead.
All right, to start with, the question was about TIFs, not PIFs. But anyway, we won't get into that, But the TIF money is not giving money away, it's an investment. And I go back to the fact that right now, we don't have she referred to the outlet mall. That was a TIF. But you know what? You know what we got out there right now? Dirt. You know what our neighboring county has? They've got Saks Fifth Avenue. They've got an outlet mall coming. They're going to have residents. They talk about getting about $8 million. So it's not like we're just giving money away. If you understand it, Bill, it's an investment, and it's an investment for the city. And maybe that's one of the reasons that we don't have the monies that we need to operate this city, and it's not on the right balance, and the right balance is not there for this city. So I can tell you right here now, I'm TIF friendly, which is business friendly, which is revenue for the city of Madison, and you guys out there for roads and also for our schools.
Would you like a 1-minute rebuttal, Mayor?
Yes, sir. The PID was not a good investment, or you would not be paying for it with increase in taxes. If it were a good investment, you would not be paying this man's default on his loan. We did not give him $12, $14 million of your money, because you'd be paying for that too.
Mayor, you're up next for the next topic. It's number 3, new growth. Madison, the city, is the second fastest growing in the state of Mississippi, just behind South Haven, Mississippi, near Memphis. How well do you, Mayor Mary, believe Madison, the city, is handling its growth, and what could you do to create a more livable city, do you think? Mayor Mary.
Yes, sir. I have a record 32 years from taking a town of 2,000 to close to 30,000. Valuation at that time was $8 million. Today is $353 million. We have 3 police officers today. We have 82. All I have to say is this. It's not because of me, Mary Hawkins Butler, it's because some of the people in this very room. It's because of the people that are here that care about Madison today as they did 32 years ago. Not me. And look at our record. How can you improve is you keep doing what you're doing and you never lose sight of the vision. And when they say you can't do it, you say we can do it, because this is our town. Look at the national accolades that we have won. You have won. Look what you have built. We have always put homeowners first. Your property values first. And that has never been compromised. We'll keep doing what we've been doing. I don't change. You may not like me. You may not like what I say. You may not like what I do. But my heart is with you in building the most beautiful city in the Southeast and building something remarkable in Mississippi. Look at what we've done together. Thank you.
Mr. Crosby, how would you handle the city's growth differently?
Thank you. At least we agree on something. She's not the one that did it all. I mean, if you look at it, look at Rankin County, the growth there. Look down south of Jackson, look at Clinton. So, you know, all of the growth has to come because of her. So we do agree. But anyway, we need growth. We welcome it. And we've got to plan for that growth. I want to put together a 5, 10, 15, and 20-year plan and program, not only for new growth of residents, commercial, retail, and parks and recreation, where we're extremely lacking. And another place that if we want to talk about growth, here's what I'm concerned about. And the number one issue that I'm worried about with growth is, as of right now, we are so understaffed in our fire departments. We need 2 more fire stations as of right now. We can't handle what we have right now. Now, our fire people are number 1 top-notch personnel. But our size city needs 2 more fire stations, and really there's no way to pay for them right now. There's no plans out there. We are about that far from going from a 6 rating to a 7 rating, which means about $200 a month. The city of Canton is rated at 5. I mean, the city of Jackson is rated at 3. So growth, I'm all for it, but we've got to take care of that growth. We've got to be ready. and I'm going to be quite honest with you. I have my family and grandchildren over at the house now and then. I'd hate to know that because we don't, and we didn't plan, and we didn't properly make plans for our fire protection, that there was an accident, or a fire couldn't get to my house in time because we didn't plan for it. And I hope it doesn't happen at your place either.
Would you like a 1 minute rebuttal?
I take issue with that remark about the Madison Fire Department. You have a paramedic on every shift. The fire department is fully equipped, fully manned, and led by a fire chief who has received international accolades. This business of 2 fire stations needed, I'll fight that. There's no way. We can't carry a fire station behind a fire truck when you've got 85% calls or medical aid calls in this community. There were 15 fires in the county. 9 of those fires were outside the city limits of Madison. You can have the rating bureau suggest things. We get these letters all the time, but we review them, we negotiate them, and take our case to them. That's like an unfunded mandate. I can assure you, you're not going to lose your rating.
Our fourth topic issue is...
I'd like to rebuttal that.
Yes, I'm sorry. Go right ahead. You have 1 minute for rebuttal.
Thank you. I'm just going to be quite honest with you. She's wrong. She can sit here and tell you what she wants. The Mississippi State Fire Rating Bureau is independent. They came here in January, and they're coming back in October. And folks, if they find what they found in January, and they've been finding it, and Madison has been getting extensions on deficiencies and deficiencies and deficiencies. I do agree 100% that our fire department and our personnel are top-notch. That's not the issue. The issue is not having enough fire protection, not by me making the decision, not by her making that decision, but the Mississippi State Fire Rating Bureau is making that decision. And it works all over the state. Why should we be any different? Folks, we need 2 more fire stations. We need the equipment, and we need it now. Thank you.
And would you like 1 minute rebuttal?
What seems to be some confusion here is that the points started at 500. We're 36 points into the 500 before our hands are slapped. 36 points. I can assure you, if I'm sitting here in October, there's not going to be 2 fire stations proposed because Madison doesn't need it, and our fire chief, who has basically written the book on fire protection, says we don't need 2 fire stations. I'm sorry for the confusion, but I'll be glad to explain that later, just if you still don't understand it.
We'll move on now to top issue number 4, residential neighborhoods. And now, Mr. Crosby to start out with. We noticed while you were serving on the Board of Supervisors, Mr. Crosby, the board voted to lower the minimum square footage in the Bainbridge subdivision as requested by the developer there in the midst of the credit crunch, so the developer could sell his vacant lots to builders who could then build smaller houses. The county board, in fact, has voted to do this several times in recent years, not just in one subdivision, almost always over the protest of nearby homeowners who bought in what they thought would be a neighborhood of larger homes. Mona's sister organization, the Madison County Federation of Homeowner Associations, has even sued the Board of Supervisors to try to block such action because they thought it would lower the property values of existing homeowners. It's fair to note that you, Mr. Crosby, voted against such actions by the county board several times. Would you support lowering the minimum square footage requirement of any neighborhoods in Madison City? What else would you do to protect the property values of Madison neighborhoods?
Well, to start with, I'm glad you did finally point out that I did vote against it, because I don't. And I'm not going to spend my time talking on that, but I did vote against it. So that lets you know where I'm at on smaller or lowering the square footage requirements. What I'm interested in is the same thing that you're interested in. I got to admit, we're probably on the same page here. We certainly want to continue to keep our values. We certainly want to keep our minimum square footages that we've already done. So I'm not going to fight that particular battle. I'm going to tell you that I agree with the zonings that we have in. And again, my voting record has proven that I am against it and changing it. And especially, I don't like changing in the middle of the stream, which is one of the things they tried to do. So it's that simple. I'm going to support and continue to support and maintain the neighborhood requirements that we have. I am not for apartments. Well, that's coming later. But I'm not for apartments. I'm not for dropping the minimum square footage. I'm interested in keeping and maintaining the requirements that we have to maintain and keep the values that we have and call for here in Madison. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor Mary, 2 minutes.
Once again, Madison's first and foremost priority is protecting your home values, your investment. Mr. Crosby and I discussed back during the time when the county was lowering the square footages. That was not right. It was wrong. That's bait and switch. You don't do someone like that when they buy into a subdivision and put their life savings in it. And I like to think that I helped him make that decision. But I can tell you something. It's not just in watching your square footage. It's how you vote on issues that affect your whole subdivision. You can ask the residents of Belterre subdivision what the vote was when those residents pleaded with the Board of Supervisors not to zone the property across the street from their subdivision that will allow a convenience store. Because of the 160-foot limitation on the zoning ordinance, it took 4 supervisors to vote to allow that. Today, as I speak to you, those residents are fighting that action in Supreme Court. And I'll let my opponents tell you how he voted in his rebuttal. Also, when we talk about Fontenelle and protecting their homeowners' rights and their subdivision, my opponent can speak to that too, how he voted in his rebuttal.
Would you like 1 minute for rebuttal?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir. Okay, when I voted, I shouldn't have to spend my whole time talking about my voting record as a rebuttal, but I will go ahead and do it. She wants to talk about a convenience store. That same zoning is doctor's offices, other things that can go in there. The guy that's developing it owns it, and he's developing actually Belterre. He was only half through Belterre at the time, so don't you think he was going and will be going to protect his investment? So, are we here to talk about the city of Madison or how the county is run and how the county votes? She's great at smoke and mirrors, and she didn't help me with the vote, quite frankly. And I'll tell you other things. There are times I've been told how to vote, and I'm not going to do that either. And that's one of the reasons we sometimes don't get along. But I'm going to tell you, my vote, I am comfortable with every vote I've ever made, and for the long run, I feel that it's comfortable and best for the constituents, whether it's for the county or for the city. Thank you.
Your voting record is important. It's not slinging mud. It's how you vote. And we're all accountable. And I stand before you in judgment for what I've done. And your voting record is out there and it's in the minutes. So yes, we should know about a person's voting record.
Again, I am not ashamed of my voting record. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. She just kind of voted up here and basically said that, you know, she's not really going to be too worried about your fire protection. And I hope she doesn't have to eat those words. I promise that. And I hope that's for your benefit. You know, but that right there in its own way was a vote. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I have no problem with my voting record. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our next key community issue is number 5, apartments. Mayor Mary, this one is for you to start. Madison has long had a policy of not permitting the construction of apartments. Do you see that continuing if you are elected to stretch your mayor tenure for another 4 years?
I said that I don't waver. The apartment situation was a battle from 1993 to 2003, I believe. And I want you to know, if we had not fought that battle and appealed that battle all the way to the United States Supreme Court is where it went. The developer appealed it. I think I've been in every court in the land on that apartment complex on Highway 463. There would have been a 560-unit apartment complex that did not meet any code, and variances were given, and that would have been a place that you would have been ashamed to pass. And I can assure you that I will never change my position on building apartments in this city. You're looking at someone who was sued personally, the first time for $1.8 million, the second time for $2.5 million, and the third time for $7 million. Kept going up and down. But I'm going to tell you something else you may not know. It's the best money I personally ever spent. And when I say I spent, yes, tens of thousands of dollars of my personal money went into that fight. And I won't back up.
Well, again, I've got to say that I agree. I don't need 2 minutes. You know, I'm not, but I am tickled. What I am really tickled is I can stand up here and tell y'all, because if rumors been going around and I've been asked and I've been told that they've been told that I'm for apartments. I'm not for apartments. So you see, we can clarify this in public right here. I'm not interested. I like the way she is zoned. She did a good job. I salute her. I give credit where credit's due. But I'm not interested in apartments. Thank you.
Mary, would you like a 1-minute rebuttal?
Yes, sir. On Mr. Crosby's pamphlet, where he's running for Mayor of Madison, he said he supports the Madison County Strategic Plan. On page 19 of the Madison County Strategic Plan, he supports this plan, okay? The county paid, I don't know which page, $200,000 for this plan? It calls for educated Madison people why apartments are needed. He supported the plan, proud he supports the plan, calls for apartments, and he puts it on his election card.
As with all politics and what have you, there's sometimes going to be particular parts. But did I say I supported apartments in the city of Madison? No. I do not. Every vote I've ever had has been against apartments. And I do support this overall strategic plan. There's a lot of things that this lady supports that has odds and ends and small parts in it that if you pick it apart and beat it to death, you know. So that's all they're doing right there. This strategic plan for Madison and Madison County will help move our county forward into the future. And a lot of the things in there are needed. 99% if not 100. But, you know, you got to vote for the overall plan. But I will still stand by my vote of I've always voted against apartments, and I still stand that I'm not going to let apartments inside the city of Madison, regardless of the strategic plan. Thank you.
1 minute for rebuttal, Mayor.
You can't have it both ways. This is an expensive plan. This is going to be the marching orders for the county. If he didn't want it in there, he should have said, I don't want it there. It should have been taken care of committee and taken out. This is your plan, ladies and gentlemen, for the growth of the county. Let's educate the people on why we need apartments.
2 minutes each, 1 minute rebuttal each. Shall we go on to this next key community issue? It's very similar. Number 6, economic development. Mr. Crosby, it's your turn to begin. Even though Madison, the city, is the second fastest growing in the Mississippi, you have said in your campaign that you feel Madison's growth is being held back by the current administration. You say you would be friendlier to business who want to come into Madison, and you would bring in more business to create more jobs. Mr. Crosby, some Madison residents believe that would just create more traffic congestion and strain our local government and result in higher taxes to keep up with the additional growth. Not such a good idea, I say. Mr. Crosby, how much growth is enough growth, and how much growth is too much growth?
Well, we're going to go back to the economic development deal here. And it says, in my opinion, you shouldn't have to leave town to go to get what you want in Madison. I've got folks that want to go out to eat somewhere else. The other day I asked a bunch of ladies, where did you buy the dress you have on now, or the dress you wore to church this past weekend, or if you went out to eat? Every one of them said they bought their shoes and clothes elsewhere. We've got to have economic growth. The old saying, build it, they'll come, there's some truth to that. And how much is too much growth? I can't answer that. But I do know we've got to have more growth. Again, I go back to putting together a 5, 10, 15, and 20-year plan for all areas, and residential growth, commercial growth, and retail, and also sports complexes. We have got to have that, and we've got to have to continue, or we're not going to get the balance. And we've got to have the balance that we are out of balance, trust me, on the percentage of housetop ad valorem taxes coming in, and the sales tax, and the tax dollars coming in from the business side and the industrial side. And until we get that balance, we're not going to be able to do the extra things that we need, the Hoy roads. We're needing to come up with $6 million right now that as the city doesn't have to try to match and get going over here with MDOT, over here on Madison Avenue. So we've got to get that balance. Right now, just to make it real quick and simple, a household costs, for every dollar that they send in, it costs about $1.25 or $1.30 to operate that. So how long is that going to work? That's one of the reasons we're in the boat we're in. We've got to get this other revenue in here and get the growth so that we can have the extra money to do things on Hoy Road, on Bozeman Road, on Madison Avenue, and increase our ability to build 2 fire stations.
Well, I'm glad that the city of Madison is in the boat we're in. Madison redefined economic development 30 years ago. We did everything backwards that everybody else was doing, and look at this city now. We treated housing as our industry. That was our economic development too. People were our business. We would build the finest subdivisions, protect them with good planning and good zoning, protect your investment, support the schools, have the finest school system possible, and that we would be a place that we would focus on crime prevention and have a safe environment. Have the environment where people want to live and rear their children and retire. And we'd have a place that business would want to come. And once those rooftops were counted and the market was here, then they could make a profit and they would come. They would come with the ordinances, with the architecture control of the Madison look. They would come with the landscape. They would come with all of those things that set us apart, and it has worked. The first 10 years we grew by 233%, Mississippi's fastest growing city. And look, can you tell that we're not growing? Look at the 463 and 55, Mississippi Sports Medicine under construction, a wellness center, Mississippi Eye Clinic. It's coming, the best in specialized medicine. We have not rolled out the red carpet just to accept anything and everything to create some kind of tax base. We got it, and we got it right the first time.
Would you request for 1 minute rebuttal? You may have it.
You know, if she starts naming off all the people that were here, she'd have a longer list if we were a lot more business friendly. Example right here, see these bumps in my hand? I went to a doctor in Flowood the other day, and when he found out I was running for mayor, he just stopped and he said, you know, I would be in Madison right now if it wasn't for your mayor and all of the requirements that she has up there. So that would be another doctor's office that we have, maybe across from Belterre, who knows? But you know, the thing is, we don't even get the opportunity. So, you know, I don't buy all that she's saying, and I really recommend that you don't buy all that she's saying. It's a little sugar-coated because I'm going to tell you, the city is not in as financial shape as you think it is, and it doesn't have the cash balances that we need, and we could have a disaster, and this city would probably have to borrow money within 2 months to operate if the disaster was bad enough. Folks, y'all don't want that. I don't want that. And I'll end on that. Thank you.
1 minute, Mary.
My opponent knows about borrowing money. I bet half or more than half of the people in this room do not know that a few months ago that the county borrowed under a promissory note $7 million in anticipated of taxes for next year. $7 million, folks. Not a bond issue that you have the right to protest and is advertised. $7 million to operate the general fund or do whatever they want to do with it. Don't know. But we can get into that later. And we got it right. Tylertown News, April 11th, realizes Madison. Some towns get it while others don't. Madison, Mississippi gets it right in Tylertown News.
Each and 1 minute rebuttal each, so we'll go on to the next issue, which is family living. Mayor Mary, it's your turn. Family Circle magazine says Madison, the city, is one of the top 10 towns for families in America. What do you plan to keep it that way?
That was a great honor, and is a great honor. When you look at Boston area, the Los Angeles area, the Chicago area, the Austin, Texas area, and then Madison, Mississippi, top 10. We didn't apply for that. They found us. And it was based on our numbers. It was based on what and who we are as a community. What do I plan to do in the future to keep it that way? What we've been doing. Crime prevention is a top priority. 35% of our budget goes into crime prevention. You have to have a safe community, ladies and gentlemen. That's a must. Look what's happened all around us. People don't want to live in a place they can't sit on a porch. They don't want to open a business where they're afraid to go to their car. We keep this community safe. We support our schools. And we put policies in place that keep us safe. We don't change horses in the middle of the stream. We're doing something right, or we wouldn't be the top 10 in the nation. We'll keep doing what we're doing now, and continue that road.
Interesting, she says they didn't come after, I mean, we didn't go after them, they came after us. I'm not so sure I agree with that statement. But at any rate, you know, it is what it is. But I will go back to, you know, she wants to talk about protection. You know, she just held up something and said you can't have both. Well, folks, fire protection is protection too. Now, you know, I'm just as for keeping the police department strong, and we've done a great job at it, and I will continue to do that. But folks, protection is protection. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. I want fire protection for not only my family, but for your family and the future families that are going to be here. You know, you can't have both. Well, maybe that's why she doesn't plan for both. She doesn't think we can have both. But I think we can, and I know we can. And again, we continue to talk about the county. That's fine. The thing is, most of the time, pretty much most of the time, even the moderator says, you didn't vote for this. You voted against it, but we packed it. That's fine and dandy. Again, I have no problem with my voting record. But folks, in order for us to move forward, we've got to change some things. And I know that people out there feel that way because they tell me, and I know because some of you out there have told me. So, you know, everything's not roses, everything's not quaint, everything's not charming, and that's one of the points and the issues I'm trying to get across to y'all and trying to get across to you in my campaign. Madison has to get fiscally strong so it can do the things that we need to do as a city for the future. Thank you.
Yes, sir, I've tried to explain the fire protection to him. I'll do it later. Thank you, sir.
She said a comment. Can I say one comment? Not a rebuttal. She didn't rebuttal. She just made a comment. I would hate for her to have to explain to you why your house burned down and you lost somebody. You know? You know how I want to say, and she'll explain it to me later. I really would hate for her to have to explain something to y'all. Because it's not funny, and it's not a joke, folks. It really is. Thank you.
All right, moving on to the next key community issue, number 8, land planning and zoning. It's your turn, Mr. Crosby, to begin. We recognize that a developer's plans sometimes conflict with existing planning and zoning. It can add significant cost to a planned neighborhood or a new commercial project. Given your statements in this mayoral campaign that you would be more business-friendly, bringing more jobs to Madison, how would you change the current land planning and zoning policies of Madison, the city?
Well, I hate to use the word change. I would like to use the word improve and bring some good business common sense into land planning and zoning. And I can tell you one thing about planning and zoning and planning. If a bridge is needed across a railroad track for safety, convenience, and all for you guys out there, I won't fight it tooth and nail and then take credit later when everything turned out good and MDOT made it happen and Dick Hall made it happen, as he said, not on my watch. Folks, I wouldn't take credit for it, but I would let you know that I did all I could to keep it from happening. As your mayor, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make sure that your safety and your ability to get from one place to the other is a top priority. But in zoning, I'm not going to change any zoning. You know, zoning is there. What we've got to do, though, is bring good common sense. And you know, the example that I'm going to give you, my own company spent probably an extra $3 million, give or take, on our building. Well, folks, It's pretty, it's beautiful, but was there any need for that? Was there really any need for that? We were able to do it, but your average bear or your average company can't do that. So guys, we've got to bring good common sense into our planning and zoning so that we can bring doctors' offices in. We can bring other restaurants in, or we can bring other businesses in so that it doesn't cost them an arm and a leg to just get their foot in the door, and then they can operate at a profitable business and a profitable margin and be able to bring the revenues in that Madison needs. So that's my thoughts on planning and zoning. Thank you.
All right, Mayor Mary, your 2 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a businesswoman. I opened my business when I was 12 years old. That's kind of tough. But I made money. And when my parents died, that little shop helped pay my tuition through college. I know about small business. I know about business. I also know one thing, that those brick and those windows didn't cost that Kroger $3 million more. I believe they bought a lot more land to go with that nice, beautiful Kroger that we're so very, very proud of. It's a balancing act in bringing businesses to the community. You got to be careful. You know, Madison is a beautiful place. Has a lot of disposable income. Now it's critical in the life of Madison. We've got to make sure we don't lose what we've got in this community. And when it comes to zoning, people's voices are heard in the city of Madison. They turn out when we develop a comprehensive plan. They don't like something, we listen. And we listen loud and clear. The zoning plan, the comprehensive plan, the zoning ordinances are reviewed. And they're kept up with the times. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing wrong with this town. You better be glad to call it home. I'm sure glad to call it home.
You know, as long as she stands there and says there's nothing wrong with this town, and you believe it, I mean, there's a lot of great things. I'm not going to. She's done great things. There's no ifs or ands about it, but we've got to move forward. We've moved past critical mass. Madison is growing. We're not the sleepy old town that we were 15, 20 years ago. You know, she made the comment she owned the business. Well, you know, it's funny. Last year, about mid-year, there was an article where she had opened her most recent business. And she also, and the title down in the middle of it was, "With More Time on My Hands." Well, folks, why she got time on her hands? Enough to open her business up again. She needs to be running the city of Madison. And, you know, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to have time on my hands. I'm going to be busy being your mayor, making sure that we got businesses, tax revenues coming in, so that we can do the things that we talked about. Boy Road, Bozeman Road, and the other things that we need to tie into Madison Avenue to MDOT. Thank you.
This is always dangerous territory, but I'd like to correct the press. I believe that article should have said Jim has more time on his hands. Jim Butler, sorry.
All right, our next issue is number 9, charter schools, and this one's for Mayor Mary to begin with. A few weeks ago, our Mississippi legislature passed a bill to enable more charter schools in our state. Do you believe charter schools are needed in Madison, the city? How do you feel about Madison schools, and how should they be improved?
You have more National Merit Scholars walking the halls of Madison Central School than any other school, public or private, in the state of Mississippi. Right here. You don't argue with perfection. You don't argue with what's happened in the Madison County School District. You leave it alone. Don't touch it. Support it and leave it alone.
All righty. Again, we agree. Let me kind of do like she does. I agree to leave it alone. You know, come on. At least she gives credit where credit's due. Did you notice she said it's the Madison County school system? You know, she's real quick to say we never get any money from the county. We never get anything back on our tax dollars for what we send into the county. But it's the Madison County school system that she says is in perfection and doesn't need touching. And I could not agree with her more. Leave it alone. Thank you.
The Madison County dollars that we pay go to the Madison County School Board. They have a board and a fine superintendent that takes care of our children. Thank you, Madison County School District.
Pardon?
Okay. Moving to the next issue, in fact, it is Madison County government, community issue number 10. And Mr. Crosby, it's your turn to go first. As you know, taxpayers in Madison, the city, and the southern portion of Madison County pay a majority of the property taxes, the sales taxes, and other levies received by the county. Do you believe, Mr. Crosby, that the city of Madison receives benefits and funding from the county government equal to the property taxes and other levies that we pay to the county?
Yes, I do. I really do. Madison County, as I said, that we have been accused of earlier, or the rumor is spread that you don't get anything back. Again, the Madison County school system, the Madison County library system, got one of the finest libraries right down here next to City Hall. Madison County tax dollars. Madison County Annex down in, actually in Richmond, but it's in the county. And we're trying, God, we're trying to get that here in Madison with no help necessarily from somebody over there that I think would love and really ought to be really trying and putting an effort into getting those tax dollars in that building into the city limits of Madison. So, yes, the city of Madison gets a lot of money back. I have a list that shows approximately $10 million that Madison has gotten, through the years. And to give you an example, at that same time when Madison had $10 million, Ridgeland had received about $199,000. Canton probably had received about $50,000. Flora had basically received nothing. But we're talking about $10 million worth of work, and there's always been a cooperative. It'd be better, I won't deny. Maybe if she doesn't stand in point and tell us how sorry we are, she might end up getting some more sometimes. Because, you don't bite the hand that feeds you, my goodness. We've given $10 million, and we've got the sheriff's department. There's a lot of monies that come back to you guys and to us. I live in the city too, that come from the Madison County end of it, and also from the tax. So yes, Madison gets a good fair share back. There's no doubt. Thank you.
All right, Mayor Mary, you have long complained that, in your view, Madison, the city, does not receive its share of tax revenues from the county. Do you feel the county's board of supervisors have been responsive to your complaints? And if not, what further actions do you expect to take?
I have said for a long time that the citizens of Madison that pay county tax dollars that go to the county do not get their fair share. Mr. Gerald Steen in the auditorium here was once quoted in the Northside Sun saying 65% or more of the money comes from Gluckstadt North, and we're not getting our share. Mr. Steen, I agree with you. This $10 million that was just brought up, oh, come on, give me a break. This was done in an area that we annexed, and it's not even completed. You've got roads that were built on on private right-of-way that's right now trying to be worked out. You've got a parkway that's not completed. You've got $5 million, $6 million in engineering fees on the Union Interchange that's never been completed. And they put that all in Madison's corner. I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, if they give me $10 million, we'd be riding on smooth asphalt in the city of Madison.
Again, her figures are not right. I've got them right here. Some of it was on what was annexed. Yes, we didn't have to spend that money on something we knew we were fixing to lose. But there's millions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars of projects. Madison Avenue, Highway 51, City Hall. You're right in front of it. Resurface Lake Castle Road. Resurface Madison Avenue, Highland Colony, Liberty Park. Madison Avenue, Rice Road. Magnolia Street. The McClellan Street Bridge. I remember when we were doing the Old Canton Road, we got a request. They needed $10,000 or $15,000 more dollars because they had to move some pipe and what have you. We paid it just like that. We can go, toe to toe on it and all, but yes, Madison, yes, a great bit, and we didn't create it. Madison County didn't create the system. You go to any county, anywhere in the state of Mississippi or the United States, the money is spread. There's always going to be the pluses and the minuses.
Mayor Mary, 1 minute rebuttal.
County did not pay for City Hall. That's wrong. This list goes back to 2004. Okay? And look at the funds. It's not here. If you want to see where the funds have gone, we're paying engineers to engineer roads that we have no money to build. That's where the money's going.
To issue 11 parks, bikeways, and athletic fields. Mayor Mary, it's your turn to begin. Many of us regularly go to soccer, softball, baseball, and other games to watch our children play. It's probably fair to say the complaint that we hear the most is that Madison, the city, doesn't have enough athletic fields, parks, walk paths, and bike paths. What are your plans for building more such facilities, such as across Madison Avenue from Liberty Park, and the several acres of athletic fields being planned by St. Dominic's? Mayor Mary, 2 minutes.
That's a lot to answer in 2 minutes. City of Madison purchased 150 acres across from Liberty Park to expand Liberty Park. St. Dominic's came to the city of Madison and said, don't do it, wait, go with us, participate, become a partnership. Let's make a partnership in developing the best soccer, baseball complex in the Southeast. They spent $250,000 on the study to show that it was feasible. They spent another $250,000 on the plan. They worked and fought through the certificate of need process for a hospital. That project's been on hold for a while. No, we don't have enough ball fields. We provide ball fields for every child in this county. No child is turned away in any way, whether they're in the city limits or not. We do not lock our fields. They are open. The county has children in the county that use these fields. And how many dollars have been given to the city of Madison for those fields, to expand those fields because of that population? How many? How much money? How much money? Likewise, they're coming with the expansion of Madison Avenue, Hoy Road, and they're going to be done right. Safe route to schools right now is under construction. Look down Madison Avenue and look on Rice Road. It's coming.
Again, let's let somebody else do it. Let's don't make any effort. Let's don't make any plans because we don't have the money. That's kind of the way this administration is. Even with what's going on up at D1 and the Baptist is doing up there, that's not enough. That is not enough. This city is so far behind in its parks and rec. It's pitiful. Our people go out of town. Tournaments, baseball, soccer. This is a 1989 figure. 100 tournament team over a weekend. 1989, 100 teams, $3.5 million. what would that be for the city of Madison in 2013? You ought to see some of the baseball fields. There's one up in Memphis or South Haven that's got like 17 fields, just, pristine baseball tournaments. I have people talking to me all the time about, we don't have enough. We don't have enough for our own. We do allow others to come in, but she acts like it's ran spout over by the outsiders. We don't really have enough for the city of Madison. And as far as engineering fees for roads that aren't going to be built, Tory Road right there. And she herself says that it's insane to engineer a road if you don't have the money. Well, she doesn't have the money for Hoy Road. She hasn't been able to get the money for Hoy Road. Has no opportunity to really get the money for Hoy Road. But they've done engineering and they've done design. So don't let the kettle call the pot black, folks. She needs to realize that she does the same thing, and it's called progress. It's called trying to get things out there. But Hoy Road is no more closer to being done, even close. And it was started like 6 years ago. So I just don't agree with her mathematics. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Would the mayor like a 1-minute rebuttal?
I think I'll just talk about Hoy Road. The environmental has been done on Hoy Road. Hoy Road is short about $4 million, $4 million. We asked the County Board of Supervisors, the representative of that area, for $1.5 million that was up for grabs. Had two places to go, asphalt or on paper. The representative of that area decided not to give $1.5 million for phase 2 that would bring Hoy Road up to Rice Road and get us closer to getting it completed. Instead, he chose, and could not get it through, he says, the $1.5 million. He chose to have it engineered phase 3 so we have it on a shelf and we can be ready for it in 3 years. That's where your money's going, ladies and gentlemen. Engineering roads that have no money to build, just like Yandle Road, and I can go on and on.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Crosby, 1-minute rebuttal.
Well, at least we've got the other end engineered so that whenever the city gets that particular part built, we're ready to move forward and connect to it. But ask her how much money she has put toward Hoy Road. She has committed to put toward Hoy Road and has actually put in it other than the engineering and the design. We've got to be able to finish it. Not even near finishing it. I've had people this week ask me about Hoy Road. Told them I'm not going to lie to them. I don't see it anytime soon. So when do you plan on Hoy Road being that particular area?
They asked the right person about Hoy Road when they asked about Hoy Road to my gentleman to the left. The city of Madison is $3.5 to $4 million short. We were able to come up with, through federal, whatever he wants to call it, doesn't matter, every city gets it. I would be stupid if I did not go after your dollars that you pay for. But what I'm here to tell you is this. That is a state aid road. And a county supervisor is charged through the Mississippi Constitution for roads, bridges, and ferries. He has not helped one dime with Hoy Road. We don't have the roads, we don't have the bridge, but maybe we'll get a ferry.
She didn't answer the question, and again she wants to blame me for Hoy Road. How much has the city of Madison? That's what I think that clarifies it right there. I will work to get it done. I will work. And she says we have a committee. Wrong. Facts are wrong. We have a $2 million MOU with the city of Madison that as they get through or close to the end of getting Hoy Road built, that the county will give and participate with $2 million. But that still is not enough money to finish it. We need some help, folks, from the lady on that side of the room. Thank you.
All right. Now we move to our final topic, questions from our neighborhoods. In a further effort to be fair and objective, Mona asked for suggestions from anyone in our 69 neighborhoods. Mr. Crosby, in the beginning meeting for this event, also suggested we seek suggestions from our neighborhoods. So we sent a blast email invitation on April the 2nd to more than 300 on our email list in all neighborhoods, asking for questions that our citizens would like to ask candidates. Well, we received an inbox full. Some were real zingers. We don't have time for all of them tonight, but we'd like to ask both of you candidates about a few that are simply too good to pass up. I will not disclose the name of the citizen who emailed this question to us out of respect for his or her privacy. I will just ask his or her question exactly as it was suggested to us. Then we will each have 2 minutes to respond. Question number 1 from the citizen. Quote, a recent issue of the Northside Sun indicated that in zip code 39157, Richland, about 43% of the living units are now occupied by renters, and only 52% are homeowners. Also, Richland has seen some showplace commercial development, such as Renaissance Shopping Center, but at the same time, County Line Road has properties that have been vacant for months. How would your leadership in Madison be different from the leadership in Richland that has produced such low home ownership and such mixed commercial development? And we'll start with Mr. Crosby on this one. How would your leadership be different from the leadership in Richland that has produced such mixed results?
Well, to start with, I think the issue has already been brought up that our sister cities has learned an awful lot about renting and, of course, apartments. I think if they had all been able to write it again, they would certainly write it different because they're in the process of changing. That is one reason that I will continue to fight against apartments and be against that. As far as the commercial, I think they finally figured out a good bit of commercial, a bunch of good things about commercial that they've learned through the years also. I think we all have the opportunity to learn from that. So I think we would have automatically higher end commercial buildings and businesses being brought to start with. And they'll have longer lives, I believe, because we will have better types of businesses that we will be bringing. So that's what I would say we would do a little different than they do. But I'll tell you something that I would do, and I know we got just a second, but one thing that we will do that I do like that they're doing is they have a planned program out there, and that's what we're going to do. That's what I will do, 10, 15, and 20 years. Thank you.
Mayor Mary, 2 minutes.
Well, we've had a plan for 32 years. The zip is 39157, 40-something%, but if you put 39158 zip in it, it's 54% rental. Madison originally had 2 different agendas, 2 different plans. What I'm hearing tonight about growth and how to do it is more like what Ridgeland has proposed and did do 30 years ago, 25 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't write off half a city, an older area. Every subdivision in this city is precious and dear. No matter what the square footage, no matter the age. And you won't see this administration or this mayor saying there's nothing we can do about it, so let's move on and forget it and let it go. You can't do it. And we haven't done it. Policies are in place. Adopting the International Building Code, adopting the International Maintenance Code, to protect and ensure that quality is in every neighborhood and homes are maintained. There we go back to the core of what a city is, and that is in your home ownership. That's where we've been, that's where we are, that's where we'll stay.
At this point, I would like to suggest a slight change in format, Mr. Crosby, if you are agreeable and the mayor's agreeable. So we can cover more questions from our neighborhoods. Let's only cover 2 minutes from each candidate on each citizen question, and then skip the 1 minute rebuttal if you would be agreeable. That way we can cover more questions quickly. Each of you would have 2 minutes to respond, and then we'll go on to the next question. Is that agreeable? Is that agreeable? That way we can cover more of the questions we have from our neighborhoods. Second question, does either candidate see grocery and gasoline alternatives in Madison's future? Madison is strapped with the highest gasoline prices in central Mississippi, and residents are more or less limited to the pricing strategy of one major grocery chain. I wonder who that might be. Do we really want to retain the crown of high prices that our limited choices have brought us? What would each candidate do about this dilemma? Mayor Mary, you want to start with this one since Mr. Crosby started the other one?
Well, we're certainly definitely proud of Kroger and the commitment that Kroger has made to Madison, Mississippi. But I have heard many people say we do miss our small Kroger. What I envision, a smaller grocery store on Madison Town Square, the 17 acres that the city of Madison owns, where downtown will be built. And it will be built. Something that is smaller, walk in quickly, go quickly. So I see that happening. Gas prices, we can't control those. Sam's may bring down some gas prices soon. They're going to have a fuel center, but it sure does look good. I think it's going to look like a Kroger. So, the competition has to control that. And as thankful as we are to Kroger for making that investment in this community, we may need a smaller little store to slip in and out.
All right, Mayor, Mr. Crosby, 2 minutes.
I like the way that sounded, Mayor, Mr. Crosby. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, to start with, I think competition is good. I really do. I've always said that. That's the way I was brought up in the business and being in business. Competition is good. It refers that we have the highest prices and the highest gas prices. I'm not so sure I agree with that because just yesterday, the gas prices in Clinton was off from ours. A lot of times down in I-55, ours is actually cheaper. We do 2 price checks a day, and you're right, the competition is the one that basically drives that. But, quite frankly, the flip side of that, it costs a little bit more to do things, to do business in Madison, whether it's a grocery store, a gas station, restaurants, or anything of that nature. And folks, let me tell you, they don't take it on the chin, they pass it along to us. Just like a city, they've got to have more things. They want to talk about taxes, tax increases or tax decreases. Which, by the way, Madison has one of the highest millages of the city, any city in the state, or excuse me, in the county. We're at like 28, and Griswold's at 20. So, we have a lot of room to actually cut there too. Because we've got plenty coming in from that. So, and we really don't. But you would think we did at 0.28. But competition is good. I'm not so sure that a smaller volume, I understand the grocery business and you've got to have volume. I'll just be honest with you. But I hope any business would make it. I hate to see any name or sign come off of any, whether it's grocery, gas, a restaurant, clothing. So competition is good.
Thank you, Mr. Crosby. We'll move now to the third citizen question. Mr. Crosby, this one you will start out with. Quote, we pay a sewage fee which goes to Jackson's Metro treatment system. What effect will the new water and wastewater contract with Jackson have on the city of Madison and its homeowners? Who represents Madison when our sewage rates are raised in Jackson? Mr. Crosby?
I've just got to be honest with you. I'm not sure I can answer that question. I'm not going to shoot from the hip. I do understand, though, that talking about water rates and sewage rates and what have you, I have been told that the city is making money off our sewage and or water, and I would certainly, as mayor, look at that. And I don't really want to make money for my city off of any sewer or water bills to you guys. Thank you.
Mayor, would you like to comment on that one?
Yes, sir. Madison owns their own water system. Also, Bear Creek operates inside the city as well as the Pearl River Valley. 3 water systems. The city of Madison is contracted with the city of Ridgeland to use the wastewater treatment plant in the city of Jackson. Ridgeland holds a contract. We contract with Ridgeland. Madison saw something bad coming, concerned about it. We started building and getting money from DEQ, and we started running pipe north of the Big Black River so we could pump our sewage to the Big Black so we wouldn't be dependent on the city of Jackson when everything comes crashing down because it's coming. So Madison's got about 65% of our flow already going to the Big Black, and we're sending more there to protect you.
This one is directed at you from a citizen who writes, quote, John Bell, you recently said in a newspaper ad and also on your website, quote, I want to be mayor of all people, not just a select few, end quote. A few years ago, when you were manager of Kroger and also president of the Madison the City Chamber of Commerce, you fought hard by organizing a petition drive to keep Walmart from coming to the city of Madison. Based on this history, what assurance does a resident and a voter like me have that now you will represent all the people and businesses fairly? End quote. Mr. Crawford.
Okay, thank you. That's a pretty good question, but I hope I've got a pretty good answer. First of all, I happened to be the president of the chamber at the time Walmart was coming in. I didn't fight it. Let's face it, I still go with what I said a few minutes ago. Competition is good. Kroger fights, and I'm not speaking for Kroger's question. I didn't bring that necessarily on this question. They did. Kroger fights Walmart fist to fist across this, in a sense, across this nation. Maybe not necessarily under the Kroger banner. But I will tell you, I did not fight Walmart. And I will tell you right here and now, the people that put out the petition was the chamber. Now let's just get down to the brass tacks. That survey didn't come from the chamber. It came from City Hall through the chamber. And she may not like me saying that, but that is the answer. I happen to be the president then. I didn't fight Walmart. And we didn't come up with the idea of somebody wanted to see how the people felt. They felt like the best way to do that was through a survey. Surveyed through who? The chamber. Who happened to be the president of the chamber that year? John Bell Crosby. I didn't fight it. Chamber really didn't have anything to do with it, if you want to know the absolute truth. Hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Okay. Mayor.
It's no secret I fought Walmart. And look what we got. If Walmart wanted to come to the city of Madison, then they needed to have that Madison look. Here we go again. And they got it, and I'm proud of it. Walmart's so successful, they're building a Walmart in Canton, Mississippi. Sam's walks in and said, we don't want to fight. What do you want Sam's to look like? You want it to look He said we want it to look like Kroger. And it's got columns and arches and brick and it's gorgeous. And we're on a roll because once Sam's comes, here comes others, and here we go. That good plan, that good economic development. I thought Walmart. That's all right. Look at the end result.
Citizen number 5, quote, what are your plans to keep Madison as a designated retirement area for seniors? What plans do you have for aging in place, cultural activities, educational opportunities, and entertainment for seniors? Mr. Crosby, it's your turn.
Just more recreational things for everybody, right? I'm all for it. We've got to keep our children busy. We know that. And I think by doing more in the sports area, more, as I said earlier, we can't depend on D1 and the Baptist Hospital to take care of all our needs. We've got to be proactive. We can't be reactive. Same thing with our senior citizens. I know we have a great program that Ms. Becker does with our senior citizens and does a great job. But I also hear that there's opportunity. There's a lot more to have things done. There's always room for expansion and to be able to do the things that make the city complete. We've got to take care of, certainly, everyone in the middle. And that's the bulk of who's in this room right here. Everyone who's in the middle. But everyone in this room also represents the children and the grandchildren. The elderly parents that may live in town, or the older, I want to use elderly, but older, or whichever. We've got a mother and father-in-law over at the bond home. And there are needs. And I will work with our department heads and also with the public. And speaking of that, I also want to point out that during our every other weekly council meeting, I plan on working in a public comment. We have it at the county. We call it constituents' comments. And I think that we want to get that worked into our city meetings so that we can hear more input from you and from the constituents. And be able to have the department heads and the aldermen right there so that they can hear it too, and maybe some answers to their questions can be worked out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Mary. Seniors.
Yes, sir. If I could, recreational opportunities were brought up in the answer. Don't know how many of you know this, but just a few months ago, after our taxes were raised to pay the PID payment for a developer who defaulted again, the county issued $1.5 million in urban renewal bonds to build a park and lake on Sulphur Springs Road in North Madison County that's closer to the Lee County line than it is the population of Madison, Mississippi. $1.5 million went to near the Lee County line for our recreational opportunities. Money gone. Now, what would I do to encourage retirees? I had the honor of Governor Fordyce appointing me to chair the task force that wrote the retirement program to encourage retirees to locate in areas. Studies are shown that 3.1 retirees, one retiree generates 3.1 factory jobs and disposable income. Thank you. Got it. That is economic development, folks. And we've got the baby boomers coming on. We need to have the opportunities, the doors open, and Tony Becker has done a great job with that. Their trips, their programs, and also their programs that are provided at Tulane University. We need to build on that and keep it rolling, because Madison is a retirement community, and that goes back to crime prevention and taking care of this community and keeping it safe where they want to live here.
Question number 6. Madison has facilities, this is a quote, Madison has facilities for walking, biking, soccer, baseball, softball, even for the archery enthusiasts, but no skate park. Oxford, West Point, Petal, Biloxi, and Hernando have skate parks. It only takes 10,000 square feet of pavement. Could put it next to a ball diamond. Any possibility of a skate park? Quote. Mayor, it's your turn to take it first.
That's a good thought. There have been a couple of young boys that recommended that to me, along with a dog park. Everybody's got a dog. So, so there are a lot of opportunities for that. It takes money. That's why I want to bring some of that county money back to Madison, Mississippi.
All right.
I don't have a problem with skate park, whether it's if we look at it and it's feasible and it's something we can do, or somebody wants to invest, an investor wants to. I've had several folks talk to me since I've been running about some interest in a lot of different things to bring to the city for our youth. So a skate park may be the thing. Off the top of my head, I can't answer that, but we will certainly look at it. There seems to be some interest there. But again, expect the county to do everything. We're not going to be able to do everything. She says they've been here 32 years and they've had plans. Well, think about it. How come we still need, but the best is yet to come? We're still going to build a town center. We're going to do all this. When? I've lived down Hoy Road for 19 years, bouncing up and down Hoy Road, but yet the mayor does a $10 million bond to sue the other side over there and asphalt, and I'm still riding on a bumpy road. We've got to have plans. We've got to have plans that include a dog park, a skate park, and things of that nature. Not only for our youth, but for our senior citizens. Thank you.
All right, one serious question next. Transparency, this is a quote from a citizen. Quote, transparency is a big issue these days. However, there does not seem to be any formal process for such in Madison city finance and budgeting. Have the candidates given any thought to ensuring that the city strives to achieve the best practices of the Government Finance Officers Association, which is the highest standard for government accounting? We would like to see the city achieve the GFOA's Certificate of Conformance with National Financial Reporting Standards, and its financial reports be published on the city's website for all to see. Mayor, would you like to start?
I make no apologies whatsoever about Madison's finances or where we stand financially. There's been an issue about finances since this election. There's not been an issue about finances until this election. Ladies and gentlemen, we are recovering from the worst recession in 75 years. There's not been a tax increase in this city for 24 years. In fact, we've had a tax decrease in the past 6 or 7 years. We have had, in the past 7 years, 2 tax increases in our county. And we talk about transparency. Where is it going? Did you know that on a 3-2 vote that your county supervisors voted to pay for an appeal of a landfill where we already have 3 for a private company and ask who the third vote was with Mr. Banks and Mr. Griffin. I can go on and on about transparency, and I can talk about the recess meeting where the $7 million was borrowed. I can talk to you about the $1.5 million urban bonds that were issued after the tax increase. Our budgets are published. Our hearings are published. We have public hearings. It's there. If you want it, you can get it, and people come. Our books are open, and I put our books up against anybody's.
Alrighty, boy, that was interesting. Let me see if I can kind of cover some of those real quick. First and foremost, I can assure you, everybody sitting in this room, I promise you, Madison County, Madison City, Richmond, we need that dump. We need that landfill. And if you go out there on that road and you see that road, really about all that's available out there is the landfill. And I'll explain more to you about that later too, so that you'll understand, because she doesn't. So that trust me on that, you know. So again, I'm not ashamed of my votes. One of the other things that she talked about was I voted on the $1.7 million monies on the after a tax increase. Again, folks, I voted against the tax increase. I voted and said that Madison County could get by with what they've got. So, you know, that we keep beating the dead horse with smoke and mirrors here and what the county and the county. We're here to talk about the city. And I can tell you, I'll work with the county. I think the county will work with me. You know, a lot better than the work together, the cooperation that's been there. And I do believe that we'll see more cooperation with me as mayor. Not only with the county, but even statewide and possibly even Washington. And I believe that with my heart. But we really do, and I'll be glad to talk with you individually and explain my vote on the landfill and let you understand that one of these days, the landfill that's there is going to be full. They even say that. So that we need another landfill right next to it. And there will be fees that will come back to the Madison County area, and then in the long run, in your garbage pickup will be cheaper in the long run. And right now, the city uses another, but they use the one where the landfill is fixing to be full. So we do need it. If you'll call me, I'll be glad to explain to all of them.
One final question from the neighborhoods, and then we'll go into our conclusions. Quote, "It seems to me we are becoming North Ridgeland, and we are losing our small town feel. If we do not limit growth, we may end up looking like County Line Road and have all the same issues. What would the candidates do to avoid that?" End of quote. Mayor Mary, it's your turn to start.
Is how we got that growth. We knew long ago that we couldn't be everything for everybody. Madison is not a labor-intense industry type of community. We said we wanted to be a bedroom community for families. And we treated family as our industry to build that group, that numbers, those rooftops so they could be counted. We don't want to turn into another county line. You protect this city, and you do it like Giuliani did it, Chief. We put cameras in the entrance to this city, not to write tickets, but for protection. And we do it like no other city has done it, because we know that if we lose this community to crime, it's over. The property values go to nothing. Your business moves. It's absolutely nothing. And we are not going to allow that to happen by pushing growth too fast and accepting anything and everything so you can get a little bit of money. The people did a survey years and years ago as a check to see if we were doing it right. Are you willing to ride on a pothole wall? Are you willing to accept things and wait a little longer for the best? And overwhelmingly, 90% of them said yes. That's where I'm hearing the people are today. They don't want to give this city up, and they don't want to change it.
Again, I feel like smoke and mirrors and having to explain, but I'm not interested in giving the city up either. Again, I love this place. I've been here 19 years. I've been a part of it. I've been a part of the chamber. I've been a part of being involved with schools. I'm now in the county, and I want to be the mayor and to be able to do things that this city needs. I don't know about y'all, but I hear a lot of people say they're tired of potholes. You know, we want to talk about being done backwards. Well, we have kind of been done backwards, but we realize that that needs to be fixed. I've explained to you why that needs to be fixed. As long as we're paying $1.30 out, for every dollar that's coming in, I mean, folks, your household couldn't operate like that. How in the world do we expect the city? For the last 5 years, minimum, we went into cash reserves. But through annexation, each year we've grown $500,000. $500,000, but we went into reserves. And next year, another $500,000. That's $1 million, but we went in reserves. Another next year, another $1 million. That's $1.5 million, but we went in reserves. Now, folks, that can't keep happening. I don't want to be County Line Road either, but Madison is growing, and we want it to grow correctly, and we can continue to do it structurally and controlled, but as I go back to, with some business sense. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Crosby. We promised to conclude this event by 9 p.m. and we're out of time. We covered a lot of issues. Let's give each candidate 2 minutes to summarize why we should vote for them. Since Mayor Mary went first at the beginning, we'll ask Mr. Crosby to go first at the end. Mr. Crosby, 2 minutes to summarize.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening and having an open mind and open heart. I would like to kind of close by saying, guys, I want to be your mayor, and I feel that I can take Madison to another level. Yes, it's going to be probably a different level, but don't be scared by that. Don't be intimidated. Don't be humiliated. And don't be smoke and mirrors that everything is okay, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's not. Now, we got a lot of good things. I'm not beating the dog. We got a lot of good things. But folks, we need to get more fiscally secure in this town. We've got to get safer in this town with the 2 fire departments and get our rating back. And the only way we're going to do that is change some of the structure that we have fiscally and depend a little bit more on business. And the businesses want to come. I can tell you they want to come. I've had lots contact me. I've had lots, well, I don't want to use the word lots. I don't want to mislead anything. But I've had businesses tell me, if you're elected, we're going to come talk to you. And I'm talking good, fine, high-quality, high-end businesses. But I've also been told if I'm not elected, they're not going to come. They're not even going to consider us. So, folks, there's opportunity out there. Good opportunity, and good opportunity to do it right. I know she says it's been done right. A lot of things have, but I think it needs to be done better. Thank you.
Yes, sir. It is a fact. We have gone into our reserve accounts during the worst recessions in 75 years. That's what they're about. That's what they're there for. We did not raise your taxes and put your money in a slush fund, and we will not do it. And something else we will not do, as I read in the Northside Sun, which I just happened to found today, Thursday, March 14th, it says county may have to dip into cash reserves in this fiscal year after authorizing county engineer Rudy Warnock to help with subdivision inspections. My gosh. If we're getting to deploy this economy in this city, not to pay engineering fees, ladies and gentlemen. been said that we're not here to talk about the city. We're here to talk about the city, not the county. But ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a record and how government is viewed by my opponent and what he would do. So you look at his record and you see what his track record is, and you ask yourself, do I want that for the city of Madison? Ladies and gentlemen, it's failed politics in Madison County. I'm sorry. It has not worked. Madison is a success story. I'm proud of it. I appreciate the governor's support, the call support, Greg Harper's support, and the alderman's support, and Mike Kennedy